This is Pioneer's DMH-C5500NEX. The DMH-C5500NEX is an in-dash modular solution digital media receiver with an 8-inch capacitive glass touchscreen. Pioneer's modular solution receivers are designed for applications often in newer vehicles with limited depth behind the dash that prohibits the installation of a traditional full-depth 1-DIN or 2-DIN in-dash receiver. This installation flexibility is achieved by physically separating the LCD touchscreen display from the subchassis that contains the CPU, control system, terrestrial radio tuner, the amplifier, and the input-output connections. This allows the subchassis to be mounted in a different location or in a different horizontal or vertical orientation within the vehicle. To simplify installation and increase vehicle applications, Pioneer and Metra Electronics are partnering to develop vehicle-specific radio install-fitment kits that make the Pioneer modular solution receivers both cosmetically integrated and simple to install. The DMH-C5500NEX is compatible with Apple CarPlay and Apple HomeKit when connected to a compatible iPhone using the wired connection through USB. The DMH-C5500NEX is also compatible with Android Auto and Google Home when connected to a compatible Android phone with a wired connection through USB. The DMH-C5500NEX has 3 sets of RCA outputs for operating external amplifiers and is backup camera ready and Sirius XM ready. The USB port can be used to connect your phone and play back MP3 or FLAC music and MP4 videos. The system features built-in Bluetooth for both hands-free calling and wireless streaming audio, and is compatible with iDataLink Maestro RR OEM integration unit. Let's take a look and see what's in the box. All right, this is a big box. Let's open this up. Okay, the first thing we have here is the wire harness. Now, the wire harness connects to the control unit in the system, and this is the connection for all of the electrical connections to the vehicle, speakers, power, ground, everything. Next up, we have the RCA input and output pigtail, and a little later in the video, we'll give you some close-up detail on this input and output system. Next up, we have the mounting brackets. And the mounting brackets here can mount to the back of the screen. The screen is independent of the control panel, and we'll take a look at that. Here are some mounting screws to mount the brackets onto the back of the screen and also mount it to different vehicles. Next up, we have the Bluetooth microphone for hands-free phone calls. The Bluetooth microphone here comes on a wire about 10 feet long or so for very flexible installation. Then we have the USB extension. And because the USB port is on the control unit, not on the screen, we need a USB extension to bring that up into the passenger compartment of your vehicle. Next up, we have a wireless remote control. There's the wireless remote. Then we have the quick start guide. And be sure to download a complete copy of the owner's manual right onto your cell phone in PDF form from pioneerelectronics.com. And the last thing we have here is the warranty card. Okay, so let's open up the flap. And we have 2 different things inside here. First is the screen, and we'll show you a good look at the screen in a moment. And we have the control unit here. All right. The front panel display of the DMH-C5500NEX is a capacitive glass panel measuring 10 inches diagonal. The video portion of the flat panel display is 8 inches diagonal. And just 1 inch thick. The operation keys on the left side of the screen are buried inside the smooth capacitive glass flat panel display. This is the voice activation key, and the volume control is here. And the home key and display keys are here. You'll do most of your interaction with the in-dash receiver with the 10-inch capacitive glass flat panel touchscreen display. The back panel of the DMH-C5500NEX flat panel display has only one connection, This is where you'll plug in the RGB connection cable to the control unit. The cable is 12 inches long and is easily long enough to connect the control unit to the flat panel display when using the included mounting hardware. For additional installation flexibility, an optional RGB extension cable is available. The Pioneer CD-RGB150E or RD-RGB150A both offer an additional 5 feet of RGB flat panel display extension cable. Here is the USB port that can be used for Android Auto or Apple CarPlay. The USB port can also be used for music, movies, and still images through a USB thumb drive. And remember, we include a USB extension in the box to bring the USB port up into the passenger compartment of your vehicle. Here are 2 black jacks. This jack can be used to operate your steering wheel controls through a third-party adapter, and the Bluetooth microphone included with the product will plug in right here. You'll use this port for the optional SXV300 tuner from SiriusXM, and the optional iDataLink Maestro RR OEM integration unit will plug in right here. And this is where you'll plug in the power and ground wire harness connected to the vehicle. And finally, the AM, FM, and HD radio antenna from the vehicle will plug in right here. This is where the input and output wire harness plugs in. And here is a close-up of the input-output wire harness. Here are 3 sets of RCA outputs for operating external amplifiers. They can be set up as front, rear, and subwoofer output, or for more control and better sound quality, high, mid, and low output. These are 4-volt output RCAs. This is the audio and video RCA input, and the brown RCA here is the dedicated backup camera input. The 3.5mm auxiliary input is an audio and video auxiliary input. And finally, this is the RCA video output. And that is Pioneer's DMH-C5500NEX. And what's in the box?